All India Radio. Seithikadambam.
சென்னையில் நடைபெற்று வரும் G20 தொடர்பான 3வது பேரிடர் பாதிப்பு குறைப்புக்கான பணிக்குழு கூட்டத்தில் ஐநா பேரிடர் பாதிப்பு குறைப்பு அலுவலகத்தின் சிறப்பு பிரதிநிதி மாமி முசுட்டோரி கலந்து கொண்டு உரையாற்றினார். அவர் பேசுகையில்,
I would like to extend my deep appreciation to the Government of India for hosting and organizing 3 excellent meetings. You have been an outstanding host, a tremendous advocate and leader of the disaster risk reduction agenda, and it has been a privilege for the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction to accompany you through this journey. The establishment of this working group is a true testament to the commitment of all G20 countries to finally make the change from reacting to disasters after they wreck us to proactively addressing the disaster risk causes. I say finally because the call to make this change is not a new one at all. For too long, disaster risk reduction has been seen as an additional expense for development programs and infrastructure projects. But we know that this is not true nor correct. Investment in resilience generate dividends in avoided disasters, and this is why we must all enhance resources and capacities for prevention and risk reduction with great urgency. At the midpoint of the Sendai framework, progress has certainly been made, but we are not where we need to be. I am confident that this working group can be the catalyst for the change we need by bringing disaster risk reduction to the G20 agenda. You have firmly placed it as an issue of economic and social concern and as an issue that demands attention from the whole of your government, including your national financial authorities and your economic planning authorities. You have sent a clear message that disaster risk reduction cannot be forgotten if we really want to achieve development and our climate goals. Listening to your deliberations in Mumbai and Gandhinagar, I have heard 4 keywords emerge: integration, mainstreaming, collaboration, and partnership. First, as the climate crisis intensifies, you have acknowledged the importance of integrating disaster risk reduction into all aspects of national financial planning and spending and across the global financial system. Second, you have recognized the need to mainstream disaster risk reduction into policy and investment decisions, as well as into standards, regulations, and legislative frameworks in all sectors, particularly infrastructure. National disaster management agencies have been loyal custodians of the agenda for many decades, but now is the time that this responsibility is shared across all ministries. Third, you have made a commitment to strengthen collaboration with the private sector, capital market actors, technology providers, and civil society organizations, and to better leverage their expertise. We commend this all-of-society approach because we cannot implement the Sendai framework without these partners. Fourth, you have been steadfast in your resolve to enhance partnership with developing countries to build their resilience, including through sharing your good practices. As developing countries are the ones most impacted by disasters, your support will go a long way to reducing global losses. Looking ahead, I believe that the true value of this working group lies in its potential to integrate disaster risk reduction across the whole of the G20 work. And as a first step, may I encourage you all to engage with your respective Sherpa offices as well as your ministries of finance to ensure that disaster risk reduction is reflected in their high-level outcomes this year. In concluding, I'd like to thank the government of Indonesia for hosting the global platform where the Bali Agenda for Resilience was born, and I'm delighted that the government of Brazil will carry the DR baton forward as you take on the presidency of the G20 in December. And I would like to reaffirm UNDRR's unwavering support to this working group.
இந்நிகழ்ச்சியில் பங்கேற்று பேசினார் பணிக்குழு கூட்டத்தின் தலைவர் திரு ராதித்யா ஜதி. அவர் பேசுகையில்,
Disaster resolution is very important, very prioritized for us, especially for us, the country with an archipelagic state. More than 17,000 islands in the country, more than 250 million people inhabitants that are at risk. And you can see there's more than 12 hazards in the country, including natural hazard and also technological hazard. So that's why it's very important to carry out in the global platform where we can have collaborative way in other G20 countries, member states, and also how to put that into commitment, because disaster is something that is uncertain and a very complexity. That's why we have to go together with collaborative way. What means collaborative? Everybody play the role. Yes. Inclusively, everybody is involved. And integrated means everybody have the same route to target resiliency for the global. This is a challenging thing that we want to highlight also, especially not only urban but coastal city, including urban and the coastal area, since we have more than most of the coastal city, most of the big city are located in the coastal area. So it means that it's very important to put urban issues there when population on vulnerable exposure are there. So it means that how we can really manage the urban area, how can we really manage the city itself, especially when they're at risk. I can show you the example, like last year we have the Global Platform for Disaster Reduction was held in Bali, and we have the outcome document, what we call the Bali Agenda for Resilience, mentioning that how we can deliver the sustainable resilience for the future, especially aligning all the global agenda, including Sustainable Development Goals, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Reduction, and also aligning the climate change adaptation. It's very important how to put this all issue into one local unpreparedness culture, including what is actually the lowest stage on the area that we have on the region. Is not only the urban but also the village. That's why we have to have what we call the resilience village program that is also done by the Indonesian government, especially how to put the people resilience, including the urban. We're also active with UNDRR on making city resilience campaign, and we're until 2030 we want to make our self-resilience. Right. And Indonesia have a target goal on 2045. Indonesia is a resilience nation for disaster.
இனி மத்திய அரசின் ட்விட்டர் செய்திகள். இயற்கை வளங்கள் பாதுகாக்கப்பட வேண்டியதன் அவசியத்தை குடியரசு துணைத் தலைவர் திரு ஜெக்தீப் தங்கர் வலியுறுத்தியுள்ளார். வளர்ச்சிப் பணிகளுக்கு உறுதுணையாக இருக்கும் அதே வேளையில் இயற்கை வளங்கள் பாதுகாக்கப்படுவதை வனத்துறை அதிகாரிகள் உறுதி செய்ய வேண்டும் என்று அவர் கேட்டுக் கொண்டார். செமிகண்டக்டர் உற்பத்தியில் இந்தியா பெரிய அளவில் உற்பத்தி செய்துள்ளதாக குஜராத் மாநிலம் காந்திநகரில் இன்று தொடங்கிய செமிகான் இந்தியா கண்காட்சியில் மத்திய இணையமைச்சர் திரு ராஜீவ் சந்திரசேகர் கூறியுள்ளார். பிரதமரின் ஜன் ஆரோக்கியா திட்டத்தின் கீழ் பயனடைந்து வருவோரின் எண்ணிக்கை தொடர்ந்து அதிகரித்து வருவதாக மத்திய சுகாதாரத்துறை அமைச்சர் திரு மன்சுக் மாண்டவியா கூறியுள்ளார். இந்த திட்டத்தின் கீழ் 5,40,00,000 பேர் இதுவரை பயனடைந்துள்ளதாக அவர் அதில் குறிப்பிட்டுள்ளார். பிரேசிலில் நடைபெற்ற 6வது உலக காது கேளாதோர் பேட்மிண்டன் போட்டியில் இந்தியா 1 தங்கம் 1 வெள்ளிப் பதக்கம் வென்றுள்ளது.
இத்துடன் இன்றைய செய்திக் கதம்பம் நிறைவு பெறுகிறது.